Welcome back to the Spector Creative channel. I'm your host, Scott Toy Guru Neitlich. I'm the one on the left with the Green Lantern shirt, not the guy on the right that you can't see because he's wearing a Scout Trooper costume. But the point is, I love Star Wars. I love comic books too, and I love Star Wars, and I love a lot of things, and it's what's led me to an amazing career in the toy industry. And of all the things about Star Wars that I love the most, and I do love the movies, I love some of the video games and comics and the placemats, it's the toys, it's the action figures. That's my absolute favorite thing. And within the action figure category, there are some things I like more than others. And honestly, one of them is all of the wild things, all of the beasts and the monsters and the crazy things that try to eat you because, or you can ride on. And when those things become toys, well, it's like, Arbor Day and fireworks. Things just come together and it's amazing. So what if I told you there was a beast from the original Star Wars movie and the original cut of the Star Wars movie, like 1977, that has never had a toy made of it? Sort of. Well, okay, let's talk a little bit about Star Wars beasts so we can have some background. Obviously, they are some of the better selling toy product. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been around for so long and continue to be around. When the prequels came out, we got beasts. We got them very quickly, immediately. You could do the Arena Showdown pretty much within the same month that the film came out. I think the Ackley was delayed a little bit, but otherwise, yeah, they were coming out. And when Disney purchased Star Wars and started creating their own beasts for Star Wars, well, there definitely wasn't that much of a delay in getting these new monstrous characters, although they were a little bit more missed than they were hit as far as translating to toys, but the translation happened. And if you want to look at the history of Star Wars toys, they were there literally from the beginning, like day one. And beasts that had very little screen time. In fact, that Dewback and this Legomi, that's a joke, go watch the Legomi video, they barely showed up on screen. Other beasts like the Tauntaun and the Wampa and the Rancor, they got big screen moments and they got big toys. And those beasts from the original trilogy that didn't get toys in the Kenner run would later get them finally in the Hasbro Kenner Power of the Force 2 line. And when the special edition came and improved Star Wars, excuse me, don't know where that came from, well, we got those too. And in fact, talking about improvements, toy improvements have continued. We've gotten Dewbacks and Wampas and Tauntauns that have just constantly gotten better. Heck, even the Womp Rat, which never actually shows up in any of the movies, and I don't even know if it's been in any of the cartoons either, Clone Wars, I don't know what, but we got a toy, or at least a PVC figure of the Womp Rat in the Hasbro line. It came in this Toys R Us Lars Moisture Farm confrontation set, the disturbance at the Lars homestead, I believe it was called. Yes, yeah, so only at Toys R Us. So yeah, Womp Rats made it into the toy line, didn't make it into the movie. And when the special edition came along and, as I said, improved Star Wars, well, the improvements also got toys. Well, the Dewback, it was cool that it got a CGI makeover, and it walked around in the desert, and even the version hanging out in Mos Eisley got redone. But this beast did not. This beast that's behind Obi-Wan, that's, again, been there from day one, barely in the movie, never had a toy. Again, sort of. So what is this? Well, it's obviously not a bantha, because we know that's had a toy. It's the Gerba, which is kind of the Star Wars version of a cow, maybe, sort of. He is in more than one shot. He's not just in that one quick shot. You can see one in Mos Eisley behind R2-D2 next to, I think that's Jabba the Hutt's land speeder, according to Decipher. All right, well, here's a close-up shot. So yes, above R2 there, in the back, you see with the horns and the saddle and the stacked stuff on its back. Kind of looks like a yak, right? Like a yak or a cow. Well, it's called a Gerba, and yeah, there it is for those of you who still couldn't see it. See, we've outlined it in red for your entertainment value. And Gerbas were there on set. Here's a very rare shot of the front, looking very cow-ish. There's Lucas and his then-wife, Marcia. No, sorry, it's a little blurry, but, shots back then from 1976 aren't exactly plentiful. And it even showed up in the prequels, getting a bit of a makeover and not looking as maybe cow-like, looking a little bit more alien now that we were going to see the front side. It's shown up in the art books. It's shown up in sort of the biology of Star Wars books that features the beasts and what they look like. It's shown up in the comics from Dark Horse and maybe from Marvel too. I don't know. I haven't read too many of the Marvel Star Wars comic books. Sorry. But it's never had a toy, as in like a full toy, a toy that you could put Luke on and have him ride around with Biggs and go hang out with Cammy and Fixer and Anchorhead and play out all of those sort of pre-Episode 4 Skyhopper adventures. So when I say sort of, well, Gerbas do have a second place that they show up in the original trilogy, and it's a very unlikely place. So everyone remembers Jabba's palace there on his trophy wall. Well, if you look very carefully on that trophy wall, along with Captain Solo, you can see a Tauntaun head mounted, a la kind of an old hunting lodge. You know, there it is. See, I've circled it here, or rather someone on Google circled it. I don't want to take the credit for what someone else did. And you can see it in a few shots. It's a mounted Tauntaun head, probably brought in from some poacher who is going by the Hoth system. And if you look to the right of Han Solo in carbonite on his trophy wall, there's a second animal head. And that animal head is none other than our good friend, the Gerba, mounted in Jabba's palace. Didn't take him as long probably to get this one, since they're on Tatooine, as opposed to, having to go to Hoth to shoot out that Tauntaun there. You can barely see it. It doesn't show up in that many images in the screen. But it shows up in a toy. Not a toy that Luke can ride on, or Biggs, or anyone else for that matter, but in Jabba's palace, in a recreation of his trophy wall, there it is, finally as a toy, our Gerba head. So yes, Jabba's palace got done as a playset, or rather sort of a diorama, back walls of a playset, but hey, maybe they'll release the rest of it one day, because it looks like they would click together the way it was designed. And while most people were excited for this Walmart exclusive because it came with a carded Han Carbonite and Re-Ease on vintage cards as part of the numbered vintage collection, for me, my excitement came because, wow, we were finally going to get mounted Tauntaun and mounted Gerba heads. And while they're not removable from the wall, more's the pity, because there's so many funny things I could do with these heads. I guess I could, cut them off, but I'm not going to do that. We finally got a Gerba. The original trilogy creature, beast of burden, there since 1977's release. Not even fuzzled with in the special edition. Yeah, the Tauntaun is cool, but Gerbas need their celebration too, and while they only had 2 shots in A New Hope, the fact that they were snuck into Jabba's palace as part of the trophy wall, well, it gave them a second shot at getting an action figure. And, alright, maybe an action figure it isn't, but at least there's some plastic representation. The chance of getting a Gerba now as a beast to walk around on, we probably needed A New Hope to be re-released for that to happen. Hey, maybe it could happen, but I guess with it being on Disney Plus and being able to watch it anytime you want, even full of Gerbas. So, there you go, the story of the Gerba, the long-lost Star Wars beast. We've waited for a toy of it. It's now a mounted piece of plastic on Jabba the Hutt's trophy wall. Hey, it is pretty cool, and this is a rather cool set. I do hope they release the rest of the palace so you can click it on. So he's got a figure. Sort of. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do share it with others. It helps the channel a ton. And leave comments below. I always answer all of them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video on Spector Creative. Thanks for watching.